Hi, I'm Ken Newman, historian for Battleship New Jersey, and in today's video we're going to talk a little bit about conning towers. What is a conning tower? Well, essentially a conning tower is an armored cylinder that protects the vital men and equipment during battle. The development of conning towers really parallels the development of armor in the U.S. Navy. The first ships to really get a conning tower were protected cruisers. The first one of those protected cruisers was in 1884, and she was the USS Atlanta. She had 2 inches of armor in her conning tower. Our neighbor across the way, USS Olympia, she has 5 inches of armor in her conning tower, and she started her construction in 1891. So a few years difference and a little bit more of armor. By the time we get to USS Indiana, BB-1, the conning tower thickness had grown to 10 inches. And so on through the progression of classes until we get to the culmination of U.S. Navy battleships, the Iowa class. Here, the Iowa class battleships have 17.3 inches of armor. As you can see here in this doorway here, how thick this armor actually is. On this ship, this is actually the thickest armor anywhere on board. So when general quarters is sounded and the ship is being prepared for battle, the command contingent would go into the conning tower here, and they would then be locked in. These 3,800-pound doors are rotated and sealed. From the inside, there are these giant locks that hold the door in place against the conning tower when it's not closed, and then lock the people inside when they're in battle. And it works by using this, and as you can see, this big bolt comes out, very much like a bank vault. So let's take a look inside. So one of the more noticeable features when you get inside here are these viewing ports. These would have been the only way that the people could have seen out, other than these periscopes right here. These periscopes go up through the next level of the conning tower, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. But this is the way that the captain could have steered the ship or commanded the ship. There's several different ways in here that the captain can communicate his orders to the people who need to know what he knows. One of the more ancient ways of doing it is through this voice tube here. This voice tube actually goes up to the fire control up above us here in spot 3. There's also sound power telephones that are in here, as well as the ship's internal communication phones. One of the most modern pieces of equipment in here is this surface search radar repeater. This allows the captain to get a much better view of his surroundings than he would have had through these ports here. So originally, when this ship was first commissioned, the bridge that's on the exterior was open to the air. It was not closed the way it is today. The sun could really start to beat down on us, and being 17.3 inches thick, it held on to that heat. So it could get really, really hot in here. And really the only way that these guys could get any sort of comfort is through having a fan like this in here. The most obvious feature that you see when you come in here is the ship's helm. As you can see, it is a wheel, just like you would expect on a ship, but it's not quite the kind of wheel that you would find on, say, a sloop of war from back during the Civil War times with the big spokes sticking out. So this is an electromechanical system. So when I turn the wheel, the machine here turns that into a signal, which then gets sent all the way back aft to the after steering area, which then is translated back into mechanical. The captain would need a lot of data to make informed choices. In this case here, there are some gauges here that tell us the ship's speed and also the bearing of a target. Let's take a look up here in the upper section of the conning tower. So up here on the second level of the conning tower, we're actually up on the 05 level of the ship, is spot 3. There is a video that we just recently did about this that you can tag a link in below and learn more about this particular space. So there are two ways you can get into the upper portion of the conning tower here. The way I just did, by crawling up a ladder out of the lower level, or from up here on the 05 level through this door. As you can see, this space is a little bit rough. It needs some love and some restoration. The only way we can do this is by generous donations from people like you. If you'd like to help us out in getting this ready for visitors to be able to potentially walk through, you can donate to this project by going to our GoFundMe page, which has a link down in the description. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.